it's not that Kung Fu doesn't work. It's definitely not the best way to go. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. There's a lot of stuff that works. If you back fist someone in the face, I mean, it's not going to feel good. Right. It's not going to feel good to get back fisted in the face, but it's not as good as you fucking overhand right somebody. It's just not.
I think a better qualifier is it's not that it doesn't work. It's just it doesn't work on the right people. You could probably knock out an 86-year-old grandmother with the white crane dancing tiger technique, but try it on an MMA fighter, it's not going to happen.
Well, it's also the way they practice it. The way a lot of people are practicing it, I'm like, oh my god, you're being silly. It's like you're throwing a punch, and then you're pretending that if you threw that punch, what I would do is I would step right here, and then I would attack your organs like this with a claw motion. Come on,
we just had
Roger.
You're
not going to do that. The guy's going to punch you again and again and again. He's going to kick you in the dick. There's going to be a lot of shit happening. You're not going to have time to get off that claw to the liver.
We just had Roger Gracie in the studio on Friday, and he was talking about, we were rubbishing off Kung Fu and karate, something bad. We're going to get some hate. But he was talking about the kata and how if you get good at the kata, you get your belt. And he was like, but in jiu-jitsu, you spar and you have to test. You can put a choke on someone, but what about if he doesn't want you to put it on?
Yeah.
And he just was kind of breaking down some of the core differences.
There's a big difference. I have a black belt in Taekwondo as well, and in Taekwondo there was guys that were black belts that weren't that good. They just weren't that good. They had been around a long time. They'd take their forms, and they did okay in sparring, but the reality is they weren't really black belts. They never reached that expert level. Like, they could get mugged. Somebody could kick their ass. Like, they really weren't adept at fighting.
Do you know what I find is very interesting, Joe, what you might appreciate is if you look at some of those more ridiculous martial arts, you see a guy who's like 45 or 50. Now, if you see a jiu-jitsu guy at that age, he's tough. He still rolls. He's in shape, But you see one of these guys, and without fail, every single 45-year-old plus traditional martial artist is the guy who's got like a slouch and a beer belly, and you can see he hasn't done a push-up for like 15 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those like Uchiru guys.
Yeah. And the weirdest thing is they want to be called by some weird title as well.
Sabum Nim.
Yeah. And you said it was in the face. So you pulled up like some Facebook the other day, and you saw a guy with a black belt, and you're like, look at his face. It's not a jiu-jitsu black belt. Because he didn't have the lines on his face from like all those hard...
Because he doesn't test himself. He just hides behind, like, he gets his belt or he gets his certificate and he says, okay, that's me. I'm this grandmaster. And then all the little students bow to him because they think he's got mystical powers. But at the end of the day, he's not progressing. He's not progressing in his art, and just makes my blood boil, man.
Jiu-jitsu is all about exposing reality. And there's a lot of martial arts that are about putting on a show. It's really kind of completely contrary to jiu-jitsu. That's why Taekwondo had a big impact on me as a child, because in doing something that was difficult in Taekwondo, it was like the first character forming thing that I did as a person. But there's a lot of cult aspects to it. The bowing and the calling the instructor sir and always bowing to them. There was like this. None of that shit's in jiu-jitsu. The respect is all like real, legitimate, natural, friendly respect. Like Jean-Jacques Machado, I have a black belt under Jean-Jacques as well. And Jean-Jacques is he's not just like a great jiu-jitsu coach. He's like everyone's friend. He's like a really nice guy. So he's very informal, but it's no one ever like disrespects him, or no one ever takes advantage of that friendliness and thinks that that they would be a better fighter than him, or they can kick his ass sparring or something like that. Yeah. But karate guys will always have to put on. I don't want to say always, because a lot of it's just it's done correctly, and it is a discipline, and it's all about maintaining the sort of the mindset of the Zen martial arts practitioner. There's a lot of people that are legit about it, but there's also a lot of people that they just want to put up a fucking dog and pony show so that you don't challenge them and test them.
A few of the guys at the club where I trained, they were going around. They just wanted to learn, so they were going to every martial arts club they could go to, they could find, and just testing the instructor and seeing what they could learn from him. So they get to a ninjutsu school. Right? And
what is that, by the way? What is ninjutsu?
It's what I wanted to learn. When I was a kid and I looked at martial arts magazines, I was trying to pick out martial art to learn before I practiced anything. I was like, it'd be pretty good to be a ninja.
Ninjas are cool.
But I needed something where you could get a black belt. That's one of the reasons I went with karate first. I wanted to get a black belt. You don't even know who's the best one. They all dress the same. I need a belt, man.
So they get to this ninjutsu school and they say to the guy, we'd like to spar with you. We'd like to see your system and what you can do. So he said, you will wait until after the class. And so they were like, okay. They stuck around and watched them walk on their hands, whatever it is you do in jiu-jitsu class. And then at the end of the class, the instructor said, students, we have a challenger. And what he did is he took out a blindfold, he walked to the center of the mat, and he knelt down, crossed his arms, put the blindfold and crossed his arms, and then said to my buddy, he said, "Attack me."
Get
And
the fuck
I swear,
out
I
of
couldn't
here.
make this up.
Get the fuck out of here.
So
He
my-
might be crazy. Did you just punt him in the face?
Well, my buddy looked around the room looking for a camera. He was like, this has got to be like some kind of joke. And then he just he ran around to the back of him and put on a rear naked choke. And this guy like squealed. I didn't know what was going on. And eventually like the guy let him go. And that was the end of ninjutsu for our training, I guess.
Well, he was really nice about it because he could have just punted him in the face. It's nice that he
Like a pride kick in
Yeah,
the face.
yeah, fucking Shogun style, from 2004. No, instead he decided to choke him. That's a very nice guy because he could have just run up and just kneed the fuck out of his face.
Yeah, or Woshamboed him, right?
Yeah, he's silly bitch. What are you doing? Attack me? Oh my god, you're crazy. There's a lot of dudes who got mad at me online. A lot of these black dudes that do kung fu in New York because there's
Okay.
like a whole culture.
Like from the Warriors, that kind
Dude,
of kung fu.
there's-
Remember those guys?
Most of it's fake kung fu.
Okay.
When I say fake kung fu, it's like a lot of they're making shit up. Like, what if you did like this? Oh man, you can't do like that. Look at how much you got exposed. Like this area, I'm attacking your knee here, son. Like you got problems here. You know, I got a tiger claw to the side of your neck. Your whole side of your neck is wide open. Like they talk completely
This is entertaining
unrealistic. I like watching. I laugh my ass off at them. Look, these guys want to believe that they're real martial artists, and they're really mad at me. Like, and the guy was like, "Come on, son, you telling me if I hit you in the face with a monkey paw, that wouldn't hurt?" Yeah, it would. Yeah, if I let you hit me in the face with a monkey paw, it would probably hurt.
But the crazy thing
that's
is-
not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is you're practicing some nonsense, kid. All right.
But we all have aspects of our life in which we're deluding ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We just probably can't identify them. Like, for them it's martial arts. For us, it may be, I don't know, our relationships or whatever.
People love to delude themselves. It's way easier than facing the insignificance of your reality in this crazy picture of the whole universe.
Yeah, it's a protection mechanism for the
that's
brain, right?
what the ego's there for, to give you a reason to stay alive until you can get enlightened enough that you no longer need the ego to appreciate this existence.
Yeah.
But the ego is there to keep you alive. You're super special when you're
Right.
a fucking 10-year-old. You know, your
Oh,
ego.
that makes sense. That makes so much sense.
It's just an engine to push you forward. And then from there, it's all about getting enlightened to the point where you no longer need the ego to enjoy the existence.
But that doesn't happen in the
You can
West.
enjoy it. Yeah, it does. It
take me there, Joe.
happens. You can do it. I did it. I mean, I'm
Wow.
not perfect, but I'm certainly way more evolved than I was when I was a younger person.
But what was that, through training or
Yes.
through psychedelics or what?
Both, all the above. Jiu-jitsu for sure helped. Jiu-jitsu, I've been doing jiu-jitsu since '96, and I think just getting constantly fucking strangled and going at it until your heart's gonna explode in your chest, and you're trying not to tap, but you know you got to realize you got to tap, and then you got to go again because there's still 4 minutes left in the round, and you're fucking, you're going at it. And you develop these intense relationships with people because you understand their character. You see dudes that break. You see dudes that will never break. You know guys that are so tough to tap. I think that when you do that on a regular basis and you tap, you tap people, you get tapped, you strain, you blow through all the energy that you have in an endeavor. Especially one that's so primal. Jiu-jitsu is so life and death. Even though you can do it and no one gets hurt, it's the craziest thing, man.
I have this theory that jiu-jitsu. I reckon you would know more about someone after a 10-minute jiu-jitsu match than a 10-minute conversation.
Fuck
10-hour
yeah.
conversation, maybe.
Yeah.
You see their character come
maybe
through.
10 fucking years.
You know so much about a jiu-jitsu guy when you shake his hand.
Yeah. I think you have to have. I always talk about how well like jiu-jitsu guys have control of their ego. It's very rare you run into a jiu-jitsu guy who's
Very rare.
completely out of control.
So many of our early guests were actually jiu-jitsu guys because it was who we knew for London Real, and we must have had 8 of them,
Yeah.
guys, and they were all just these cool, grounded, pretty humble dudes, still smart, still excelling in their field, but they were just, I don't know, they get checked on a regular basis.
That's what it is, man. It's getting checked on a regular basis. It's huge. It's so important. It's what I said about the ego. Your ego, it leads you to victory. It leads you to want the glory and the accolades. But ultimately, it fucks you. If you fight with your ego, everybody knows that. You'll lose your composure. You'll get crazy, especially if you start getting tagged. You'll, instead of fighting smart, you'll just fucking flail back. You'll try to attack back, which is oftentimes the total wrong approach. Like, you have to do the right thing technically. So you have to. If you're going to do the right thing technically, you have to be in complete control of your ego. You can't even let that factor into the process.
Are you going to be rolling till you're like 65, do you think, or later? Are you going to be like Elio Gracie?
Till the wheels fall off. I'm rolling till the wheels fall off.